Hello, friends. What if it's going to be okay? What if things are just easy? What if things just go our way? I have a little story to tell, and I had a really beautiful experience yesterday. This theme about what if it's going to be okay? What if things aren't bad? What if things aren't challenging? What if they're just all right? This theme has been coming up. There was a DJ called Luke Rain that he came through our ecstatic dance a few weeks ago, and I said something like, it's just so challenging. And he goes, what if it's not? And I was just like, yeah, interesting. And so he planted this seed, and he just kept saying, like, I'd say something and he'd be like, what if it's just easy? What if it's not challenging? What if it's just okay? And I've been playing that through my mind. So yesterday I had a business call, very important, about focusing on something that was going to like a new event that we're planning together. And then I had an appointment to go see these healers about 25 minutes from here that is like, I've wanted to connect with them for months. So this is very exciting. So I get off of a coaching call and I'm like scrambling around before my next call. And my daughter came over and she was hanging out here, and we're kind of talking. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of feel high. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know this feeling, and I certainly shouldn't be feeling like this right now. And I had inadvertently taken my 3-to-1 instead of my high CBD. I saw that the bottle had the rubber band, and I still took it. It was one of those, I knew that I wasn't paying attention, and I just didn't stop myself. So all of a sudden, I am now high. This is the dose I take at night, and it's a whole thing. And I went into this instant like, oh my God, like I can't go on with my day if I'm going to be incapacitated. And my call is in like 15 minutes. And I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm telling my kid like, oh my God, I took the wrong medicine. Now I'm high. And this feels like frustrating because how am I going to have a phone call, a business meeting? And I know people do, and I'm just like, that's not me. So I was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I'm just going to be so high and I'm not going to be able to focus. And Sid's like, what if it's just going to be okay? What if you're going to be just fine? And I was like, I actually don't have a choice. And Sid said, why don't you, if you take more CBD, that will counteract the other one, which I did not know. And it totally did help. And I had to surrender. I was just like, this is what's happening. So I get on my call and we're talking for a few minutes, and I feel actually great, but I feel like the kid in school who like smoked, and you're like, oh, I don't want the teacher to know, and I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, I'm an adult and I know my friend wouldn't care. And so I was like, I just have to say, I'm a little high. I took the wrong medicine. And she's like, great. We ended up in 30 minutes coming up with a workshop. Oh my gosh, stay tuned, you guys. So women's empowerment. Oh my gosh, so exciting. We came up with the workshop idea, like how it was going to go. Like she already had the things. I have people. I was like, okay, this is amazing. I got off the phone. I was like, this is great. I had some food. I had some water. And I was like, I'm totally fine to drive. So I go out to this place, and I ended up having a 6-hour portal into this healing modality that I've never done before. Was surrounded by a bazillion of the biggest crystals ever, and just got to be in this frequency and this vibration. And I had so many downloads, and all these things kept happening, and I felt like my creativity was just on fire. One of the men that I was there, he's one of the healer guys, and he was like, oh, a spirit is with you. And he described who it was, and it was my mentor, and who had passed away, and had a beautiful connection with that. And it was just like, I ended up having this crazy magical day. And I just kept laughing, and I was like, what if it's going to be fine? And it was. So I share this story to just remind us all how our mind can be our best friend or our biggest enemy. And learning to work with our mind to support us in our healing and support us in our days is one of the best things we can do. We can sit there and say, oh my gosh, cancer is going to come back, or oh my gosh, the country is, going to hell, and oh my gosh, this and that. But what if we live in a space of it's going to be okay? Maybe it's going to be hard. Maybe it is going to be challenging, but it's going to be okay. And what if the challenge isn't nearly what we thought it was? And what if on the other side of that challenge is a bigger lesson, is a new door opens up? I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I was only 46 years old. I had a thriving business, and because of my medication and my nighttime cannabis, I ended up having to stop my job, shift gears. I left my marriage. It was just like, oh my gosh, my whole life is changing. And now I live in this cool house in the middle of a forest. I'm friends with my ex. He comes and stays here. I've started like 4 new businesses. I literally am coaching people with cancer. I'm having my first retreat here in a few weeks. I'm hosting, co-hosting workshops. Like, who could have imagined this life? And yet when I got diagnosed with cancer and they were like, you have 2.5 years to live, it could be very easy just to give up at that point. And yet I really shifted my attitude to it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And it's funny because I kind of like lost my way with that in certain ways. I feel more comfortable about my health, but like these other parts of my life, fear comes in, anxiety comes in. So I just want to share this little story with you. What if it's not hard? What if it's not challenging? What if it's going to be okay? What if this is just the perfect path for us? Ponder that. So I'd love to hear how this resonates for you. I'm curious if you've, had that like light bulb moment where something you thought was going to be hard actually worked out and was actually easy. I just love it. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Much love. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. It's super important to get this out here. I'm really trying to build the YouTube because TikTok's not really feeling like the place anymore. So long form content here. Thanks for tuning in.